Hi guys, this is Pratisha, your IELTS trainer. I hope everyone is doing really great. In the previous lesson, we talked about how what are the different strategies for writing and summarizing, trying to find out key details from a written passage or an essay or a report or whatever. In this lesson, we are going to follow some similar strategies, but it is mainly going to be about your listening. So we will follow some of the same strategies. We will try to extract main points, but again, from your listening audios. So let's get started with our lesson today, which is majorly going to be focusing on listening areas. And here it is. So for this, we are going to practice listening to complex conversations, right? So while we have done basic conversations, we will go on and move ahead to more complex conversations. We'll focus on understanding detailed information and context. So we need a little bit more context, a little bit more detailed information, and we'll engage in activities to enhance listening comprehension skills. So essentially, what I planned is that we will not go ahead and solve questions. We will just focus on how to listen effectively, first of all. So, with that being said, let's move ahead. So, why do we need to focus on complex conversations? Right? We need to focus on complex conversations because, everyone around us, while they are speaking basic stuff, but they are also they can also talk about details, right? So whenever there is something that is related to details, we need to be able to understand that. And basic English is great for beginners, but when you get a little bit advanced or even intermediate, you need to seek for that information, that details that is there um in the conversation. And that is also true for IELTS speaking, because the audios are going to have detailed information and you have to, search for them in the audio. Then you have improved the ability to follow longer and more complicated dialogues. So dialogues in IELTS are long, right? It's not a very short conversation, it's a longer conversation and it's complicated. It's essential for academic, professional, and everyday communication. So in everyday life, you cannot really rely on the simplest of things, right? You will have to dig deep into conversations where probably you are making another person understand something. It enhances listening skills and overall language proficiency. So it will enhance your listening skills and your overall proficiency just in general. Strategies for listening to complex conversation. So some effective strategies are: listen to the main ideas, right? Focus on the main points and central themes of the conversation. So just listen to the main idea. Pay attention to context, right? So see what the context is about. Try to understand the situation, try to understand the setting, try to understand the participants, like who are these people who are talking? What is the situation? And where is it happening? Note key details, right? Take note of important details such as names, if there are any, dates, if there are any dates, if there are any specific terms being used. Listen for tone and emphasis, right? So pay attention to the tone. If it is talking in a happy tone, if it is a sad tone, if it is angry tone, if it is a concerned tone, if they are like, what are they talking about basically? Um, so now this is a listening activity in a written form. So this is just a transcript, but we will go ahead and listen to original audios as well. So listen to the following conversation between two colleagues discussing a project. I think we need to focus more on the marketing strategies. Our sale have been declining and we need a fresh approach. Have you considered using social media influencers? So this is what like the first person said. That's a good point. We could also look into improving our SEO and online presence. So now the conversation is about increasing sales, right? So it's about increasing sales. and then they have given their opinions. So the first person has said social media and influencers, right? The second person has said SEO and online presence, more of an online presence. So they have talked about these solutions for increasing sales. So what is the main topic of the conversation? We know it's increasing sales. What are the two main ideas discussed? So social media and SEO. And that's all. It is extremely easy. So now listen to the conversation again and focus on specific details. Again, we have the transcript here. What problem is being discussed? That sales have declined. What solution does the first speaker suggest? He suggests social media and influencers. What additional idea does the second speaker offer? So he says SEO. And again, he also talked about social media. Now listen to a complex conversation and take notes on the main ideas and key details. We will do it together. After listening, summarize the conversation using your notes, share your summary with the partner, and discuss any differences. What are some tips that I can give you before we begin? It's practice regularly. You need to make sure that you are practicing. Use authentic materials. So you like authentic material here means listen to real life conversation, podcasts, and videos, right? So everything should be real, like based in real life. Focus on understanding, focus on comprehension. You should be able to understand the overall message as well as the key details, right? So your point should not just be understanding key details. That is also necessary because that will help you solve the questions. But sometimes what happens is that the audio is too fast, or maybe you have missed on something. There, you can figure out, or you can try to guess, or you can try to inference from the overall idea that has been discussed. Review and reflect. So after listening, review what you have heard and reflect on your understanding. So just review everything. So these tips will help you become a more effective leader or listener. Right. So before we move on to this, let us go ahead and just give me 1 second. We will definitely open whiteboard and we will go ahead and listen to the audio as well. So let's pick any random audio. So let's do this one.
Test 2. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to part 1.
So you have
Part
some
1.
time always.
You will hear a man asking about voluntary work in the village that he has just moved to. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 7.
So who is it about? It's about a man. He's asking for some voluntary work. So they give you some
Now
time
listen
to
carefully and
read the
answer
questions.
questions 1 to 7.
Okay, let's just focus on the audio.
Hello, Jane Fairbanks speaking.
Oh, good morning. My name's Frank Pritchard. I've just retired and moved to Southo. I'd like to become a volunteer, and I gather you coordinate voluntary work in the village?
That's right.
What sort of thing could I do?
Well, we need help with the village library. We borrow books from the town library, and individuals also donate them. So, one thing you could do is get involved in collecting them. If you've got a car, that is.
Yes, that's no problem.
The times are pretty flexible, so we can arrange it to suit you. Oh, another thing is the records that we keep of the books we're given, and those we borrow and need to return to the town library. It would be very useful to have another person to help keep them up to date.
Right. I'm used to working on a computer. I presume they're computerized?
Oh, yes.
Is the library purpose-built? I haven't noticed it when I've walked around the village.
No, we simply have the use of a room in the village hall. The West Room. It's on the left as you go in.
Oh, I must go and have a look inside the hall.
Yes, it's a nice building.
Do you run a lunch club in the village for elderly people? I know a lot of places do.
Yes, we have a very successful club.
I could help with transport, if that's of any use.
Oh, definitely. People come to the club from neighbouring villages, and we're always in need of more drivers.
And does the club have groups that focus on a particular hobby, too? I could get involved in one or two, particularly if there are any art groups.
Excellent. I'll find out where we need help and get back to you.
Fine. What about help for individual residents? Do you arrange that at all?
Yes, we do it as a one-off. Oh, in fact, there's Mrs. Carroll. She needs a lift to the hospital next week, and we're struggling to find someone.
When's her appointment?
On Tuesday. It would take the whole morning.
I could do that.
Oh, that would be great. Thank you. And also next week, we're arranging to have some work done to Mr. Salisbury's house before he moves, as he isn't healthy enough to do it himself. We've got some people to decorate his kitchen, but if you could do some weeding in his garden, that would be wonderful.
Okay, I'd enjoy that. And presumably the day and time are flexible.
Oh, yes. Just say when would suit you best, and we'll let Mr. Salisbury know.
Good.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to look at questions 8 to 10.
Now, I'm going to stop it here just to discuss what we heard right now. All right. So, who is it talking about? It's talking about the man, right? And let me just change the color here a little bit. So let's take blue. So who are we talking about? We are talking about the man. Why has he phoned? Because of some voluntary work that he is looking for. What did he ask about? He asked about library work. What two works is he going to do there? Collecting books and also maintaining records on the computer. He does have a car, so he can give his transportation service. The timings are flexible for all the voluntary work. So this is it. Where where is the library located? It's in the west room in the hall. So he also talked about any hobbies, especially he was talking about art group. And the woman said that she will let him know, she will get back to him on this one. Lunch club, when he talked about that. So there is a lunch club for the elders, and he wants to help them in transportation. He also talked about an appointment for a woman, which he is going to help, which is on Tuesday, and it would take whole morning, and he agreed to it. Then we also talked, like, this is the individual residency woman, right, who wanted this transportation thing. Then there was this guy, Mr. Salisbury, who was moving, and there were already people who were doing the decoration work, but they needed someone who could also do weeding work in the garden, right? So for this weeding work, I think he agreed to it, And he just asked that I hope that the day and timings are flexible. And the woman said, yes, the days and timings are flexible. So that is how you actively listen, right? And you need to be really focused on it. I'm going to clear my drawings, like I'm going to clear whatever I have written for the next part of the audio, and we are going to do the same thing once again. But this time, try to pay a little bit more attention and try to make your own notes as well.
Now listen and answer questions 8 to 10.
The volunteers group also organises monthly social events, which is a great way to meet other people, of course.
Uh-huh.
So next month, on the 19th of October, we're holding a quiz. A couple of residents are great at planning unusual ones, and we always fill the village hall.
That sounds like fun. Can I do anything to help?
Well, because of the number of people, we need plenty of refreshments for halfway through. So if you could provide any, we'd be grateful.
I'm sure I could. I'll think about what to make and let you know.
Thank you. Then on November the 18th, we're holding a dance, also in the village hall. We've booked a band that specialises in music of the 1930s. They've been before, and we've had a lot of requests to bring them back.
I'm not really a dancer, but I'd like to do something to help.
Well, we sell tickets in advance, and having an extra person to check them at the door as people arrive would be good. It can be quite a bottleneck if everyone arrives at once.
Okay, I'm happy with that.
We're also arranging a New Year's Eve party. We're expecting that to be a really big event, so instead of the village hall, it'll be held in the Mountfort Hotel.
The...
Mountfort. Mountfort Hotel. It isn't in Southo itself, but it's only a couple of miles away. The hotel will be providing dinner, and we've booked a band. The one thing we haven't got yet is a poster. That isn't something you could do by any chance, is it?
Well, actually, yes. Before I retired, I was a graphic designer, so that's right up my street.
Oh, perfect. I'll give you the details, and then perhaps you could send me a draft?
Of course.
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers to part 1.
Right, sure, that should be it. Now, if we take a look at it, I mean, we have all the details and we have not even taken a look at the questions, but I am pretty sure that we would be able to complete all the questions because we have understood this and all of this information is in our mind, right? So now they're talking about some social events, which is on 19th October, there's a quiz, and from him, refreshments are required. On 18th November, there is a dance at the village hall. They have already booked a band which gives 1930s music, and he can perform checking in at the door activity. During New Year's Eve, they have booked Mountfort Hotel, the hall there. Dinner and band. Dinner is provided by the hotel. Band is booked already. They need some poster. And the man said that I am a graphic designer, so I should be able to send you in a draft. That is essentially all the information that we need. And to be honest, now whatever kind of question comes in our way, we would be able to solve it, right? Because we have all the information in our head, in our system, and we have probably written it somewhere as well. So when I say that you need to talk about something, you need to like note down keywords. This is essentially what I was talking about, and this is how you write the keywords. So again, I was not writing the whole sentences. I was just focusing on some main keywords, and that's it. So again, if you need any kind of help in understanding how to note down these keywords, what to do, how to summarize information, or even from any of the previous lectures, you can just go ahead and ask me. I would suggest try to listen to a lot of audios. Does not necessarily have to be IELTS audios. Listen to any audios. Take down those notes, right? Take down and focus on essential information. Essential information can be a name, it can be an address, telephone number, etc. Right? So note that down, and then we are good to go. So for today, let's just review. We practiced listening to complex conversations. We focused on understanding detailed information and the context it has been spoken about. In this audio, it was a telephonic conversation, and it was about voluntary work. We discussed some strategies for effectively listening, and we also applied them into the audio. So now, again, like I told you, listen to a podcast or watch a video and take notes, right, on what are the main ideas, what are the little details, what are the key points, all these things. Write a summary. Again, engage in active listening. I cannot stress it enough. Active listening is extremely important. And then practice listening to even different accents, right? So it's just American English. Try to listen to British English. Try to listen to people, Australian English maybe. Just try and open yourself up to listening to a lot of accents, right? A lot of English accents. That would really help you improve and prepare the best for your IELTS. And with that being said, I hope you'll be able to use all these methods in your mind, right? You'll be able to retain it and also practice it. And with this being said, I think we are done for this lecture. I hope you all have a good day, and that's it.